Hello, my name is Dr. Chima Imo. I hold a bachelor's degree in geodetic engineering and a master's degree in international management. I also hold a doctorate degree in public policy and administration with specialization in public management and leadership. My area of practice is on democratic leadership and national development. This is the beginning of multiple discussions on the relationship between democratic governance and national development. Firstly, let us analyze how democratic practices can form the basis of national development. Then let us look at this topic as it pertains to sub-Saharan African nations that include Nigeria, Ghana, Senegal, Botswana, Kenya, Rwanda, Tanzania, and all the other host of countries that make up this region of Africa. Firstly, political regimes are not democratic by claiming so or by merely embracing such institutions of democracy as the Senate or House of Representatives. Under stable democratic systems, opposing parties will always strive. Elections must be free and fair, and the ruling parties are sometimes voted out of power. The democratic state must be able to hold regular elections supervised by independent and impartial commissions. A democratic state, therefore, espouses and supports such essential principles as freedom of expression, freedom of worship, freedom of movement, freedom of assembly, and freedom from want. Democratic values do not only rest on mere representation, but such values must also recognize and accept the sovereignty of the people as expressed through the ballot box and the protection of civil and political rights of the citizens, and must be politically accountable to the people. In a democratic state, the sovereignty of the people is upheld, encouraged, and nurtured by creating right environments for political accountability to the citizens, respecting the preference of the people as expressed through the ballot box, ensuring political participation of the citizens, protecting the political rights of the citizens, and ensuring genuine electoral competition among political contenders. Ultimately, the government is responsible to the people, and political office holders should be controlled by the people through elections. Democracy usually offers the advantage of building public policies on political accountability. This political accountability ensures the responsiveness and accountability of the government to the governed. It also ensures the transparency of government actions and services. It also ensures accessibility of all government programs and services to all qualified citizens. By generating public accountability, democracies also impose checks and balances on elected officials and policymakers. This is because The demand for public accountability creates the incentives for governments to adopt policies that are conducive to growth. Moreover, by compelling elected officials to consider the electoral consequences of their behavior, political accountability increases the chances of delivering public goods to the citizens. The theory of democracy, therefore, emphasizes that competition among political parties creates and fosters more responsive governance by shepherding elected officials towards services and accountability. To achieve this, the state and the political process must make it possible for the citizens to effectively participate in genuine electoral competitions. Electoral competitions, however, especially in such countries as Nigeria, have not always attained the levels desirable for elevating the leaders towards the higher ideals of service and accountability. The citizens should have the ability to elect or dismiss their political leaders by means of free and fair election in which their votes are counted. A democratic state will always hold regular, free and fair elections. The repeated holding of these free and fair competitive elections produce improvements in civil liberties, strengthens civic organizations by giving office holders some incentive to serve the people. One key mechanism for enforcing accountability that is inherent in a true democracy is through periodic conduct of genuine, free and fair elections. By so doing, the preservation of the integrity of the ballot box as expressed by the people should be fundamental interest of the state. A democratic system cannot therefore be considered genuine if the ballot is compromised or the preferences are coerced. To fulfill the fundamental rights to vote or be elected as specified in Article 25 of the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, the state is required to conduct genuine and political and periodic elections. Elections are genuine when they are competitive and the will of the voters freely expressed, and the votes are counted honestly and accurately. The genuineness of electoral competition can also be assessed by virtue of how open and competitive they are, as well as how credible the opposition is. Let us look at what constitutes credible opposition. In Africa, a key aspect of democratic practices that we lack is credible opposition. Usually, the source of political accountability is at the level at which existing democratic structures possess real opportunities for free and fair election and also enhance the potential for the alternation of power. This potential for the alternation of political power is better assured by the presence of a strong and credible opposition. The presence of this opposition guarantees that there always exists an alternative government capable and waiting to take over from the incumbent government. This, in turn, puts pressure on the ruling government to be responsive and accountable to the citizens. Only an opposition that has the potential to win an election and form a new government can provide a strong external incentive for the incumbent government to act in the interest of the citizens. Without credible opposition, the government does not have any incentive to provide public goods. Under a democratic setting, when the incumbent governments sense that the opposition is strong and credible enough to take power, they act in ways that will enhance political satisfaction with their activities. It is therefore the presence of credible opposition that ushers in accountability of the government to the governed. A democratic system loses its value and genuineness if and whenever the voting system is compromised. A genuine democracy must therefore preserve the integrity of the ballot box by preventing its corruption. Unfortunately, the first task most African leaders usually embark on is not usually to usher in more national development, but they rather embark on actions and policies geared towards the subjugation and destruction of opposition parties. This state of affairs is rather unfortunate, and it permeates most African political systems in most countries of Africa. Thank you.